The war in the Middle East continues to intensify in the Gaza Strip. Israel has recently cut off energy supplies such as electricity and water. This has put Hamas militants in a serious situation. The Israeli Defense Ministry then lit the first flare for a massive ground offensive with 360,000 reservists, planned alongside airstrikes, to take control of the situation in Gaza. This operation will cover a wide area of clash, from the Gaza Strip to the Lebanese borderlines. But Israel's primary objective in the run-up to this is, of course, to destroy the Qassam militant brigades in Gaza and clear the area. To this end, Israel announced today that it had reclosed the border with Gaza and rebuilt the barriers destroyed during Hamas attacks. But the clashes inside the territory remained fierce. An Israeli army spokesperson said that they had regained control of the fence that was smashed by Hamas militants and that mines had been planted to replace the destroyed barriers. Israel Army Radio said there had been no new infiltration from Gaza. Israel Defense Forces spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said IDF soldiers from the 101st Battalion detected a large number of vehicles belonging to Hamas militants near Nir Am in the Gaza Strip. A tank from the 401st Brigade opened heavy artillery fire on Hamas militants and their vehicles in this area. As a result of this critical strike, a large number of Hamas militants were eliminated, and a dozen Hamas-operated vehicles were destroyed. Israeli forces are currently searching the area. This latest attack comes 5 days after the Israel-Hamas war, when Israeli forces established a buffer zone around Gaza. In the fighting that began on Saturday, Hamas militants had taken 7 villages along the Gaza-Israel border strip hostage in a series of treacherous terror attacks. Now the Israeli army has taken full control of the Gaza Strip and liberated all the villages and towns. The announcement came at the height of the war with Hamas, during the Israeli siege and heavy bombardment of the Gaza Strip. The operation signaled that Israel, which had amassed hundreds of thousands of troops for a major offensive, was tightening its grip on the densely populated territory, and even clearing Hamas from the Gaza Strip to the Rafah border crossing on the Egyptian side. In fact, following this critical operation, it was revealed that the Israeli Air Force's F-16 fighter jets had destroyed a total of 270 Hamas targets in Gaza alone since the first day of the clashes. In addition, as a result of these operations, the Israeli media announced the destruction of an alleged Hamas commander and his relatives. These casualty figures indicate that Hamas is losing ground in the Gaza Strip and is ceding command to Israeli forces. However, despite Israel's destruction of a large number of Hamas targets, there are still measures in place. Today, the IDF emphasized that the Gaza division area has been declared a closed military zone, and reiterated that entry into the area is strictly forbidden and constitutes a serious security risk as well as a criminal offense. This is because IDF soldiers are engaged in combat activities in the area, and therefore entering the area would endanger lives and harm the IDF's activities. Therefore, the IDF is asking the public to exercise caution and refrain from entering the restricted area so that the security forces can continue to carry out their duties. In the meantime, Israel has been conducting airstrikes against the remaining Hamas targets in Gaza after taking control of the area. Within the scope of this operation, details of Israel's attack on a multi-story building used by Hamas in the Gaza Strip emerged today. This building, an important operational, political, and military center of Hamas in the Gaza Strip, was used as a training camp. The IDF claimed that Hamas was using the building to raise funds. But after this attack, it was claimed that Hamas was no longer using the building and that its militant groups had left the area. So Israel was slowly clearing the Gaza Strip of Hamas. But today, it became clear that Hamas was also retaliating against the IDF's cleansing operation in the Gaza Strip. In the city of Ashkelon, northeast of Gaza, Hamas rocket attacks occurred in the absence of sirens and the malfunctioning of the Iron Dome. No casualties were reported after this attack, but the IDF described such actions by Hamas militant groups in the Gaza Strip as a last chance. In particular, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has stated that operations and airstrikes will continue until there is not a single Hamas militant in Gaza. Following this harsh Israeli pressure, Hamas sought its luck in the northern parts of the country. Hamas also